Alright guys, so I'm recording this video the day before we find out what the second global first LD weapon is going to be. Now I hesitated on doing this video a little earlier because I wanted to see what content would drop, and when I mean by content I mean by like what character is getting character boards, what character is getting LDs, you know, just like stuff like that on the JP side, because as you may or may not know, the JP side is about 8 months ahead of us on the global side. So because of that, I wanted to see what information the data miners have found to kind of give a little bit of a more accurate decision on what I think might be the next or the second global first LD weapon. Now I have 12 characters that I have chosen, but 9 of those characters I have chosen as runner-ups, while the top 3 characters that I feel like has a good possibility to be the next global first LD weapon, I'm gonna basically I chose these 3 characters based off of the events that are coming up to global operaomnia and some of the banners that they make their appearance again in the future. So there's a bunch of little things that I looked at before I recorded this video to make sure that I, at least for myself, that I am as accurate as possible when it comes to who I think might be the next global first LD. So in the comment section below, I want everybody to let me know what they think is going to be the second global first LD weapon to drop in operaomnia for our 3rd anniversary. I am very curious to see what everybody thinks is going to be said character or said LD weapon, you know, whatever. Just let me know in the comment section below. And as always, if you do enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for future content. I have over 75% of people who watch my videos but don't subscribe. I'm trying to hit over 1,000 subscribers, and your support would be greatly appreciated. And then of course, I know I am plugging myself in so much, but like, you know, there's a lot to talk about in this video. But I do have a Discord server. We are so close to 100 members. If you guys want to join an awesome community, this community has been building up very, very quickly, much faster than I thought it would. That link will be down in the description below. It would be awesome to have you join our little Discord family. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the characters. Let's talk about the runner-up characters that I feel like could maybe get an LD or global first LD weapon. So the first character that I chose was Jekt from Final Fantasy X. Now Jekt has not gotten any love in the JP side or in the global side for God knows how long. After he was able to be EX plus, it's almost like Square Enix just like straight up forgot about him. Now one thing to note is that his roles, which, you know, per dissidiaoperaomnia, shout out to them for this amazing website, you know, his roles, he is a melee, he is an attacker, and he is also has a turn plus. Now, the reason why I chose him as a runner-up, because he, in a way, fits what some of the upcoming content for the first 2 weeks of February, he fits in that category where he could help somewhat, not in all events, but in some events, be able to help us out in some of the upcoming content, not just for the first 2 weeks. I'm not trying to say like, oh, this character is going to be like stuck for the first 2 weeks and then he's going to be like falling off like super quickly. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is that he would be like this. He would be that one character that would be synergy, that would help out in dishing out so much damage, doing so much for the party. And I feel like Jekt could be a possibility that he may have a global first LD. Now the next one is going to be Cyan. Now I have heard that a lot of people feel like Cyan might be the next global first because, like, again, similar to Jekt, he has not gotten any love at all in the JP side on the global side. And also one thing I forgot to mention is that Jekt does not have character boards yet in global. Neither does Cyan, and a lot of these characters that I'm going to be talking about do not have character boards based off of what I have picked up in the characters from characters page from dissidiaoperaomnia. So with Cyan from Final Fantasy VI, look, I'll be honest, I've never used the guy. I have his entire kit, but he is somebody that I don't know, he just doesn't fit my playstyle. Now, don't get me wrong. His spear is what catches my attention, because his spear, whenever you realize his weapon, is actually a pretty good one, at least, you know, for my type of style of gameplay. Now, in general though, Cyan, I feel like if they were to give him a Global First LD, he would be getting a major rework, especially with some of the upcoming content that is coming to Global Operaomnia in the next few months. So Cyan is a runner-up for a potential LD. Next one is going to be dankgrid from Final Fantasy XIV. Now, dankgrid, you know, he relies on poison to be able to dish out extra damage. If the enemy is poisoned, he will be doing some extra damage. But aside from that, unless he's full synergy, or unless you have strong support to be able to make it so that dankgrid is able to do some extra damage, I feel like dankgrid could possibly be another character for a Global First LD. Plus, Final Fantasy XIV really needs some love when it comes to characters, because there's not too many characters right now in the 14 series that has you know, I mean, we have Alice, we have Yustola, we have Papalimo, we have Yida, we have a whole bunch of characters. But I feel like when it comes to having like LDs and stuff like that, if you compare both the JP and the global side, there's very little in my opinion. I feel like dankgrid would be a great addition and fun to use as a character. Plus, if you look at it from a business standpoint, dankgrid, if I'm not mistaken, has an alternate outfit. It has not been released on the JP side, but from like images that I have seen from Final Fantasy XIV, he has a different outfit. So it would make, you know, it would be smart in a business sense, especially if Square Enix is trying to get as much money from their players as possible, for dankgrid to possibly be the next Global First LD. Now, we're gonna switch over to Vinil. Vinil from Final Fantasy XIII. Vinil, as we already know, many of us have most likely have used her, but she was our go-to dispeller at the time. But aside from that, she has fallen off greatly in the global side, and like I hardly see her used at all in the JP side. So she would actually be, it would actually be nice if Vinil were to be the next Global First LD. After that is going to be Vayne. Vayne, look, Vayne already has his LD in BT. Vayne got his LD extension recently and he became insanely busted. But Vayne has not gotten any love in a long time. And I feel like if JP was going to hold off on giving him a burst, there could be a good possibility where Vayne could be our next Global First. Plus, he fits well in some of the upcoming content that is coming up to Global Operaomnia. And when we look at this chart for the month of February, we have the Divine Diablo Summon grinding coming up. We have Kaiser's launch chapter. We have Guy's event. Ultimicia's Heretics events. We have Jaxloff's chapter. I feel like Vayne would actually fit really well for the month of February and for future content later on. Excuse me. So Vayne, I feel like is a good possibility that he may be our next Global First, unless of course JP decides like, oh hey, we're gonna release this LD and his burst weapon next month or something. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Next one up for my run-up list is going to be Gilgamesh. Now Gilgamesh, I know y'all gonna call me crazy when you see this. Like, Gilgamesh, really? Out of all the characters? Look, Gilgamesh, I just had a voice crack. Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh, he needs some love. He really does. I feel like based off of his attack animations and what he already does, because he is like straight like a semi DPS unit. But the thing is though, for him to be a true DPS unit, I feel like he needs damage, and I feel like with an LD weapon he might just get that. But it also makes me wonder, if he does get an LD weapon, would he if he were to get one, I feel like they would probably give him a follow-up, but not only would he get an LD weapon, but I feel like another rework would probably help him out, especially with his EX animation, because my god, his EX, with how his animation looks, I definitely feel like that needs a change as well, because I think it should be doing way more hits than what it does right now. So I think Gilgamesh might be an option for the Global First LD, second Global First LD. Next up is going to be Katesiff. Now Katesiff, oh boy, look, Katesiff, my boy, you need some love badly, and you need love in both the JP and the global side. If you were to get a potential early rework and an LD weapon, I could see you being a go-to support for a good amount of months, because he provides healing, he provides support, he provides battery, he does a little bit of damage here and there, but like he's more of a full support type character. And if he were to get the Global First LD, I feel like he would be a busted support. But at the same time, I feel like it may not happen, because Ramza, who is going to be our next burst user, he is a burst support type user, and if that's the case, I don't think Square Enix will release two LDs that are basically support for a team comp unless they want us to start running full support teams. But Katesiff is a possibility that it may happen. Now, next up is going to be Yida from Final Fantasy XIV. Now, I say Yida because of one reason. With Divine Diablos coming up, Yida is actually synergy for the event. And then after that, she doesn't really make much of an appearance at all in future events in the next upcoming months. You hardly see her at all. So Yida's kit already right now is already powerful, and I feel like an LD will probably make her more busted. Like, well, she would become busted with her LD. Now, question is, and I was asked about this on Discord, but with LD calls coming up to Global Operaomnia next month, with Ramza and Machina getting the first LD calls, is there a possibility that Yida would be getting one as well? And would we be getting it? Would the next Global First LD get an LD extension as well as an LD? That's something that I am super curious about, because that definitely makes the difference between just having an LD and then having an LD extension. And we already know that from many characters on the JP side, like Cloud, Lightning, Squall, Sephiroth, Vaughn. Many characters, once they got that LD extension, they became busted. And I feel like if Yida were to get an LD early, she would become crazy busted. Next up, before we get to my top three, Fang. Fang, of course, everybody that in any Discord, in any live streams, or any videos, I feel like Fang is mentioned, because Fang has not gotten any love. She has not gotten any character boards at all in the JP side or in the global side. You know, she has that little, I guess, is it unique? I don't know if I would say if it's unique or not, but her C65, which provides HP damage up, I feel like she, with her LD weapon, if she were to get one, she would probably have some high HP damage up because of an LD weapon, similar to what Kurosame does, or probably better than Kurosame's HP damage up, especially if she gets like an LD call and whatnot. I feel like Fang could be potentially busted. So she is an option. You know, I was on the fence about putting her in my top three, but I have other options, other characters that I feel like have a better chance of getting an LD weapon. Now we're gonna go into my top three. First off, we're gonna talk about Pain. Pain, we already know, got a painful, barely rework, and then her EX Plus really didn't help her out at all. Now, Pain, just in general, when reading off of what she does on paper, it might not seem all that, but to many, if you have used Pain in the past, Pain was a big benefit and a plus in team comps because of that frame debuff, because of her kit and everything that she does. You know, she's a melee, she's a ranged attacker, she's a debuffer with that debuff. Like, there's so many things that Pain does, and I feel like if she were to be our next global first LD, she would be insanely good. And I'm actually leaning towards Pain being the next global LD, because I feel with some of the upcoming content, I really do think that Pain would be such a great help, and she would not be painfully tossed to the side. Haha. Okay. And so, so I really feel like Pain is out of the three characters, I really do think she might actually be the next global first LD, just because of her kit, and with whatever LD she gets, she could potentially become crazy busted. Now, my number 2 out of my top 3 characters, and by the way, these top 3, they are not in order, is going to be Rem. Now, Rem, Rem with your turn shenanigans, with the little bit of healing that you do, with your support that you provide for the party. But the biggest thing about her is the turn shenanigans. But of course, there are other characters already now. There's a few other characters on the JP side, and soon to be coming to the global side, where they're able to do something similar to what Rem does. But Rem, she has that turn shenanigans where she basically makes whoever she wants come up whenever she wants to. Now, Rem, I feel like could be a possible global first LD, but here's the thing that kind of makes me hesitant that it might not be her. So if we look back into the timeline of some of the content that is coming up to global operaomnia, Rem appears in Arenea's Lost Chapter, and that is going to be coming up in April. Now the thing is though, Rem and Prompto are part of that banner with Arenea. Question is though, who is actually going to get their LD in that banner? Will it be Arenea, or will it be will it be Prompto, or will it be Rem? Because if Rem doesn't get a global first LD, I feel like with Arenea's Lost Chapter returning, I really feel like Rem may actually be the next global first. Now with this timeline that was created by who is it? Vash, Vash 1306 on Twitter. This person has it listed as a character event. So with that, there's a possibility that this event might not be a lost chapter, and would just be like a normal regular event again, kind of like what they did with Beatrix's event. And if they decide to do that, then most likely Rem will not be getting anything off of the return of Arenea's banner. But if they do make that into a lost chapter, which, you know, it's a 50-50, then there's a possibility that one of these two, Prompto or Rem, might get an LD on this event or this lost chapter, if it's a lost chapter. But if it's just a regular event, I really don't think that it's that anything would actually happen. But I chose Rem because Rem has been straight up tossed to the side, and it would be a great thing to have turn shenanigans, and then whatever other stuff they would want to throw at Rem for her to be the next global first. Now, the last character that I am going to talk about, and this character I feel like might have been hinted on Twitter by Joshua, who is, well, I guess like the host or co-host for the Square Enix live streams. I feel like this character might actually be our global first LD weapon, but I can't confirm. So Vincent from Final Fantasy VII let me talk about before people jump the gun. So Vincent appeared in the data mine files on the JP side a few weeks ago, and we thought that he was going to be our next burst user for Pandemonium Divine that is coming up to JP. But that changed up when the data miners found little details about Zidane being the possible next burst user for JP. So that kind of got thrown to the side. But on Twitter, if you follow Joshua on Twitter, he commented on on another person's tweet, because this person who Joshua commented on was talking about Vincent's voice lines. And then Joshua commented like, hey, Global, you know, if you want to know like translations or whatever, you know, Global has the voice lines for you to check out, or etc, etc. And it made me wonder, and somebody messaged me on Discord about this as well, but it made me wonder, could Vincent actually be our next Global First LD? Is this a way that, is this a small hint that Joshua is throwing out there that Vincent might be our next Global First? I don't know. You know, maybe I'm speculating here. Maybe I'm just, you know, talking out of my ass. I don't know. But there's a possibility that Vincent could be our next Global First LD. And it would be nice because, I mean, he has Imperil on both Fire and Thunder. So if he were to get an LD, I'd assume that with his LD, he would enchant the party so that way everybody can be doing either Fire or Thunder type damage to the enemy. He's also a debuffer, not only with just the Imperils, but with other stuff as well. And he's a ranged attacker. So the possibility that Vincent, based off of that speculation of what I had seen on Twitter, it may or may not happen. I don't know. You know, this, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is all just speculations. This is all, you know, me kind of like looking at what I have seen on the data miners, and like what the data miners have data mined, some of the content that is coming up to Global Operaomnia, you know, just stuff like that. So this is who I think, at least for the top 3, I feel like have the strongest chance to be getting a Global First LD. Pain, Rem, or Vincent, based off of that speculation. And then of course we have the other characters that I chose, like Fang, Yida, Katesiff, Gilgamesh, Vane, Vinil, Dankgrid, Cyan, and Checked. So let me know in the comment section below, who do you think might be the next Global First LD? Other than that though, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully this was somewhat entertaining. So if you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I will be live streaming the event, the community stream. I will be watching that event tomorrow on my Twitch channel. So if you want to join me as we watch and find out who is going to be our next Global First, my Twitch channel will be down in the description below, and I will be streaming as soon or even before the community live streams for Global begins. So hopefully I can catch you guys some there. Hopefully I can catch some of you guys there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will catch you guys hopefully tomorrow or in my next video.